going on? I say, Mark, hey, how's it going? He says, oh, I just borrowed your lawnmower. He says, I didn't think you mind. And I said, as long as you don't mind my 10 cars parked around the driveway, it's all good. We're going to be friends. So that's our relationship. Well, good morning, everybody. My son and I are excited to be here. A couple of weeks ago, we shared this Appalachian experience with Wesley United Methodist Church, and it's an honor to share it with you all. All right, to tell you a couple of facts about the Appalachian Mountains. Appalachian Mountains run from Alabama up to Newfoundland. They're they're the oldest mountain range in North America, and they're taller than the Himalayas at one time. It runs through Georgia to Maine. The actual trail that we hike runs from Georgia to Maine, goes through 14 states, 2,200 miles long, and if you would do the whole thing, it's like hiking Mount Everest 16 times by change of elevation. Actually, a portion of it goes right by Front Royal here on the east side. Some of the most diverse plant life on the planet located on the Appalachian Mountains. You have, your wetlands, you have forests, you have beautiful flowers, just tremendous, deciduous forest. That's one of the largest oak trees on the East Coast. You also even run into some tundra up on the higher elevations, grasslands, and you can see just the fall foliage behind you. Absolutely gorgeous. There's also abundance of wildlife. You have your typical deer, the things you expect, raccoons, foxes, squirrels, rabbits, all those things. Of course, if you look a little harder, you see reptiles, amphibians. There's also some wild horses and wild ponies in Graceland Highlands. They were put there in the 1970s to keep the mountain bald. There's a famous horse on that there. His name is Fabio, and his colts are sold every year. Yes, there are snakes on the trail. There's black snakes, garter snakes, there are rattlesnakes, and Bigfoot is real. But our journey begins. First part of the trail is my son. He was tired of high school. They were online learning and just absolutely done with it. So he decided he was going to graduate early, which he did. And he researched the Appalachian Trail and all the equipment needed. So we're going to just share with you all what you need to have to actually do this experience. And welcome, Brayden.
Hi. So this is what we call in the hiking community a shakedown. And that is where you take all of the gear out of your pack and you figure out what you really need and what you don't really need. And then you try to get rid of as much weight as possible. That's the goal of the shakedown. So first thing that you need, some good old trekking poles. All right, that's the first thing you need. And the second thing you need is your hip belt. All right, so what's in your hip belt? That is the things you need the fastest. That is what you need to get to. You don't want to take your pack off. You can get tired of taking this thing on all day long. So the first necessity, snacks. That's the first thing you need out there, right? What's important here?
I'm tired of peanut products. I don't ever want to see another peanut. Another pack of peanuts. Never again.
Headlamp, so if you get hot in the dark, you need to go pull that thing right out and see what's going on. Hygiene kit. If the bears come, you always got your number. I carried a siesta mat, and it was also a second mattress. Most other important thing with my schmog, this is a blanket, pillowcase, towel, whatever you want it to be.
The pack weighs about 35 pounds fully, with food, water, and everything.
Water, another one crucial step.
Oh, I need it. Right. Thank you. Is it been filtered?
It has been filtered. Right there. Always carry a liter on you. Here, a water filter, of course. I don't have that today. I throw it away. Sitting too long. I did wear a fanny pack out there, and in there I always carry my satellite communicator. This lets you transmit messages, get to your loved ones, or as an SOS button if they need a helicopter you out of there. Camp shoes, gotta have them. Spoon, like I said, food is important out there. You're eating 9,000 calories a day, 10,000 calories a day sometimes.
Still losing weight.
Still losing weight.
Now, this is the scary part. Teenager opening up his room here.
Tent, 2-man tent, it only weighed 1 pound and 6 ounces. Pretty amazing thing. I use my trekking poles to set it up. Whatever you can do to lose weight, you do. You're going by the gram. You're cutting shoelaces off. Second other important thing is the teepee. Gotta have that. You know, you can't be using leaves out there. You never know what you're going to grab. 10 sticks, of course. What else we got? Cook system. Just a pot and a small stove will be fine. All you really got to do is boil water. Of course, for fuel.
Let's get it.
Some food. You want some more peanuts?
No, thank you. No peanuts in this.
What else? I got, of course, that's my ditty bag, I call it, that has all my repair kits for me and myself and my gear. Journal, kept a journal the whole time. This is my main mattress, but I like the comfort of 2 mattresses. And my favorite piece of gear, the sleeping bag. You never want to get out of bed in the morning, that's for sure. And you're always looking forward to it at night. That's about it. That's all
You forgot something, right?
Oh, yeah. I did carry a Bible out there. I carried a real Bible, but I said, oh man, this is not working out. I need to just put this on my phone so I can access it whenever I want to. It was not like to carry the full book. So I needed the phone.
Yes.
Other than that, that's all you really need to get out there in the woods. Enjoy the nature out there.
All right. Well, our trip started in Springer Mountain, Georgia. We took our last sip of civilization, and Big Mama's taxi service came and picked us up and dropped us on the trail. We started our trek. Georgia's a little bit more mountainous than we expected. 4 days had passed, just getting used to being out in the woods that long. And we were pretty excited. We got to a camp where another group of hikers were all camping at the same location. Everybody's excited, celebrating kind of, because we knew the next day we could get resupplied. We were all going into town. So I called up the hotel, scheduled, they had a free shuttle service, so it was great. And I get to the road crossing or the trailhead, get out, and the shuttle driver steps out, and he introduces himself. Stone Legs. Stone Legs. Stone Legs. So he starts driving us, winding us down these Georgia roads. I go, what's up with the Stone Legs? He says, well, that's my trail name, mate, in this Australian accent. And I said, what do I want something cool like that. I said, can I call myself, do I make up? He said, oh, no, mate, you are given a trail name. You don't get to choose your trail name, you're given one. But we finally got to the hotel, we checked in. Mouse traps were included in the room rate. But you know what? It had a hot shower, it had a warm bed, it had laundry, we had clean clothes. You start appreciating just the little things in life right now. So Stone Legs drop us back up on the trail. We start hiking in Georgia again. Like I said, pretty mountainous. Didn't expect that out of Georgia. We met up with some other hikers. They camped one night beside us. These ladies there's different types of hikes people take. They take through hikes. That means they're trying to go from Georgia to Maine, or they take section hikes where they just do a little part of the Appalachian Trail. These ladies were hiking the Georgia section. Well, 4 days more passed. It's time to resupply, time to get some food again. So I'm all excited. Got a shuttle driver. Stone Lake shows up again. So wait a minute. I've hiked 4 more days. Have y'all ever seen the movie Groundhog Day? It's just a repeat here. We checked into the hotel. Same mousetrap, same rate. But there was a little difference this time because the storm front was coming in. And so all the hikers were gathering around. After coming back to the same spot, so it's going to take a long time to hike this 2,200 miles. And but we all got a chance to share some songs, some stories, and it was actually Stone Lake's birthday, and he was celebrating, cooking chicken, so it was a good time at that little motel. But then I was asking Stone Lake. Stone Lake said he hiked the trail 3 times. And I asked him, I said, Stone Lake, what's about this trail? And he says, mate, he says there's 3 things. He says there's the trail, the people, and the places. He says, the only thing you do is the trail, you have no story. And ain't that kind of like life? If we just put in the years, put in the miles, we don't get a story. So my wife told me before I left, make sure you take time to smell the roses. So I took her advice and Stone Lake's advice when I got back on the trail and smelled the roses. I took my time to try to enjoy the whole experience. Well, like I said, we're trying to meet up with people and stuff. So we met some other hikers on the trail. One guy to the far left, he's a medical doctor. And they called him Dr. Frockett's because he had a front pocket. The guy beside Braden there, he was an Army medic, also Army Scout, but they called him Tripod because he loved taking photography. The girl beside me, well, Braden and I hadn't gotten trail names yet, but the girl beside me, her name's Extra. She got her name because she carried an extra tent, extra sleeping bag, extra pair of shoes, and you can imagine her shakedown when it came time. Her pack went from 60 pounds to 35, and she could finally walk again. But I think about my own life. I'm carrying a lot of extra baggage, a lot of things maybe I need to do. Maybe I need to forgive a little bit more. Maybe I need to just change some things. Get rid of that baggage. And the guy beside Extra, his name is Dirty Dog. I don't know how Dirty Dog got his name, but no, don't ask. Well, the goal now is to get into the Smoky Mountains. Now, the Smoky Mountains is, I guess Ronnie Millsap had a song, Smoky Mountain Rain. Well, that's what it did the whole time. It rained the whole time, no doubt about it. Smoky Mountain rain. But the Smoky Mountains are very rugged and rural. So when you're out in the Smokies, you're out from civilization for 3 days and not get to a road. They can't come and help you. It doesn't work like that. They have to take a helicopter, take you out of the trail if something would happen. And to combat the Smoky Mountain rain, my son Braden here sitting around a group of campers. The wood was soaking wet, and he blew on that wood for 2 hours straight. Rightfully deserved. But you realize there's a lot of dangers on the trail in the Smoky Mountains. You can come off that trail for a number of reasons. One, you're going up and down some steep elevations. You also run into places where it might be flooded. You can't get through. You have to make some choices in life there. I've fallen, I can't get up. I fell every day. I tripped over something, especially later in the day. I didn't pick my feet up as much as I did in the earlier part of the day. You can see we're walking in wet trail. There are rattlesnakes. These 2 were found about an hour and a half south of Front Royal. It's the only 2 poisonous snakes we found on the trail. They're both the same day right here near Front Royal. Beware. You also have to be careful of bears. They'll come in and invade your tent. One of the hikers, a bear tore his tent with his paw and took his water bottle. So you hang your food up, and we did what we're supposed to do. We hung our food up. It got stuck, so then we had to improvise and cut it down. That was 2 days worth of food. We're getting that down. I said, Brady, you got to climb up there. And we tried to climb, it didn't work. So we finally figured out how to get it down. Also, your feet are important. We had a little trail surgery on the way. Dirty Dog was getting his feet worked on, had real bad blister infection, that would take you right off the trail. And another, tips, Connecticut, terrible. They'll take you off the trail. And the water, you got to purify your water the whole time. And also, Indiana Jones there with the fallen rock, beware. But the biggest thing that'll take you off the trail is the rain. And the rain and the cold. It changes the game. You don't realize how cold you get till you get wet. The temperature in the Smoky Mountains, we faced a storm and the temperature dropped to 40 degrees and all the hikers are soaking wet. We all gathered in this little shelter that was made for 12. There was 30 hikers packed in there tight, borderline hypothermia. One of the ladies just was struck by lightning ahead of us. And then right then I had to make a decision. Well, first thing we did, we could maybe all of us together, we can carry this lady out of here because the medics weren't coming until the following day. But she was, stable, foot was burned, but she, wanted to stay. And so Brayden and I went ahead, moved on through the storm, ended up getting a ride into Gatlinburg because we were that close to the trailhead and we took advantage of it. This is where we finally met up with some hikers again. We met up with one of his buddies from college. He was going down in Tennessee, and my wife even came down and visited.